All right, we are continuing our interviews for the May 2nd primary, and this is the race for Canton City Council at large. And we have Joe Cole with us this morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
So let's introduce you to folks in case they aren't familiar with you or your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. As you can see, probably behind me, that I am a proud Canton City School educator. I am a teacher. I'm finishing up with year 24, soon to be going on year 25, social studies teacher at the Early College Academy at Lehman. Absolutely love being a teacher. It has always been my primary profession. I'm not a career politician. I've always been an educator, also a coach. I'm happy to report that I am the academic challenge coach for the young people here at Early College Academy. And what's so incredible is we were just named the Stark County undefeated, undisputed champions. We beat every other school that participates at the middle school level in academic challenge. And what's so fantastic about that is that so often people say, well, Canton City kids, they can't do it. Well, this is a testimony that they can do it. We had an incredible season. We defeated North Canton Hoover, which had been undefeated for 2 years, and we were able to dethrone them and take that title. So in addition to being a social studies teacher, I love history, I love government. I also love coaching the academic challenge. It has been an incredible experience, and this was only our second year actually having a team for the middle school. So it was quite an accomplishment. Very proud of the kiddos for all of their hard work and commitment.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you see your experience in schools translating over to city council?
Very good question. I think it's a very important thing to have people that haven't been career politicians, that they have worked in the public sector, that they've worked in other fields, and I feel that that opportunity to work with families throughout our community has really prepared me. I was a council member, not long, but for 2 terms at large from 2010 to 2014. So I do have an understanding of the job, what the role is. Um, but I do think that being an educator, because you deal with so many different people, you're dealing with colleagues, you're dealing with students, you're dealing with their families, you're addressing their needs and concerns, and always being attentive to what those needs and concerns are. Because ultimately, as a teacher, I work for the parents, the families. I work for the community. That's the same approach that I did when I was on council previously. It will also be the same approach that I'll take if I am blessed and honored to be elected by the city of Canton to serve once again. But yeah, I definitely see it as a servant leadership role, and I work for the people, and I've always realized that it's not the other way around. I know so many of our neighbors and community members feel oftentimes that that is not the way it feels at times.
What do you see as the city's biggest challenge right now?
Well, I think there's several big challenges. The infrastructure is something we really need to focus on. We have so many of our neighbors that their streets are in terrible condition. I mean, young people often getting hurt on sidewalks. As you remember, they used to always say, gosh, I can't believe school's canceled. When I was a kid, it had to be 10 feet high before they would cancel. Well, one of the reasons is that the sidewalks, the streets are in such terrible condition that that does affect that situation. Also, as you know, and it's a good issue, but we're an older community. All of us lucky enough are getting older, that it beats the alternative, right? but we have many in our community, elderly citizens, that they may be widowers. They may not have children in the area or children at all. And I can tell you through my journey throughout the community, because I feel in order to do this job, you need to go out and meet the people. This isn't a birthright. You got to go knock on doors, talk to people. And there are so many of the people in our community, seniors, that really in many respects aren't having someone checking in on them. And there's something municipalities can certainly do something to address those issues. I mean, a big focus of mine, not only, I mean, you're going to always hear from each candidate, you're going to hear safety forces, which I'm a big proponent of. We need more safety forces, better infrastructure, meaning we got to do something about these streets, these sidewalks, these curbs. But then also there is the issue that we have so many seniors in our community that we need to engage more. They're a wonderful resource, and that's just not simply happening. I mean, I want to make sure that Canton is providing a good environment for people in their golden years with more outreach, more, we have organizations within our community that we could partner, that we could work with to make sure that there is this contact, that there is cultural opportunities, more affordable housing. I mean, you name it, the list can really go on and on how we could better serve our aging population. Because I kind of see it as both ends on how I've always addressed my career. I work with the young people, and oftentimes young people are the most vulnerable in our community, but there's the other side of that where we do have seniors, and I want to make sure that they enjoy their golden years here in Canton.
Well, we also hear a lot from people. Obviously, they talk a lot about the neighborhoods, but they also always, and especially in most recent times, bring up the crime, the shootings,
Absolutely.
the homicides. How does council work to get something taken care of there?
Well, it's really interesting. We've gotten away from people that live, whether it is working in government, whether it's within our safety forces, our first responders. Not saying it needs to be a requirement, but we don't even offer any longer any sort of incentive to have people that are actually working in the city to live in the city. Now, if we're not promoting that on our end, what does that say how we truly feel? I was just at a neighborhood association meeting, and they had some representatives from the Canton Police Department, and I just had brought up that point. And here's one of our community leaders and one of the individuals in the neighborhood association meeting stated, "Well, no one wants to live in Canton." And I'm thinking, well, you're a leader in this community. You're actually at the neighborhood association meeting. Well, why are you living here? We don't even offer those incentives. And I see it as a school teacher with Canton City Schools, whether it's, people that work downtown and the various departments. But we need to encourage and at least try, not making it a requirement, but at least explore that issue, which it seems like we're in many respects our own worst enemies. Like, oh, no one wants to live here. I disagree. I think that this is a wonderful community, and there's certain things that we could do. That would be one of them. We want people to establish roots here.
I have seen council and the mayor currently working together. The hotel downtown. We talk about Centennial Plaza, Hall of Fame Village, and a lot of people applaud. But there's a faction of folks who, would wish to see money spent elsewhere in a different way to help them. But I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Where do you stand on that?
I think rightfully so. I mean, just how you do your own personal budget, like I do mine, there's wants and needs. Centennial Park in Plaza is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But when we have streets there in such dire conditions, a young person I just had a chance to meet with, their child, they were a young family, their child was really hurt on their sidewalk and curb area of their area. Those are things that we need to get fixed, street issues. It's just like your own budget. There's wants and then there's needs. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. It looks great. But first, I want to get safety forces up to their maximum. I want to get our streets fixed, because whether people realize this or not, I mean, a lot of young people that we've talked to in regards to streets, just as an example, why are you talking all this talk about streets? Well, owning a vehicle is an expensive endeavor, and having poor road conditions can affect the longevity. And I think we've established no one's a we're an aging working class community, and I think it'd be beneficial for us to have good operating streets and increase safety forces.
So, as a final question, people watching this, I say to you, why should they elect you to city council at large in Canton?
I would just say that I have had a career that has not been all about being a politician. I think that it is good to have different perspectives, different people get involved in the political process, not the same people that have been in government for their career. Being an educator, I think, does give me a certain different perspective and advantage, maybe other than some of the other folks that are involved. And once again, it goes back to my work ethic. I really do believe in this community. I chose I mean, I came here from, I've always been in the area. I was outside of Canton, but I chose to move here when I started my career. I work in the city. I live in the city. I want to promote the city. And I think that having that hardworking ethic, I don't have a famous last name. I'm just a hardworking person, like most people in our city that want to see some effective change, not the same old, same old. And I think that it gets back to those key things. You have, wants and needs. And I think for far too many years, we focused on vanity projects as opposed to those concrete things that truly impact the average citizen's quality of life. And I would like to focus on those issues. And great, if we can get past those and we're up and running and we're doing great in that, yeah, let's explore some other opportunities. But right now, I have a feeling we need to get back to basics, and we haven't done that for many years, and you can see that in our community.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us today. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate this opportunity. And thank you also for being so accommodating, working around a teacher's lunch schedule. I just got the kids off to their lunch break. So I really want to thank you and WHBC for providing me this opportunity to address our fellow neighbors.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.